On this day in history, the Cunard liner RMS Ivernia was sadly struck by a torpedo in the Cytherea Strait during World War I. While it may not be the best video to start the new year, the history of the RMS Ivernia has been gaining significant attention recently. Unfortunately, there are not many records about her, and based on the information available on Wikipedia, this is the closest we can get to understanding the true story of the RMS Ivernia. Here is her story. The RMS Ivernia was the oldest of the Ivernia class and was the first of two new intermediate-sized liners to operate the Liverpool to Boston route across the North Atlantic. The Cunard line commissioned the Ivernia in 1898 and she was constructed at C.S. Swan and Hunter shipyard located on the north bank of the River Tyne. Construction began on December 6th, 1898 and took 9 months to complete. Upon her launch on September 21st, 1899, she was christened by the Countess of Ravensworth before being released into the River Tyne. After arriving in Liverpool from the River Mersey weeks earlier, the RMS Ivernia began her maiden voyage from Liverpool to New York City on April 14th, 1900. Among the passengers was an infamous individual, the son of Charles Sheridan Swan, one of the co-founders of the C.S. Swan and Hunter Company. While there are no records detailing his reaction to the voyage, it must have been a tremendous honor to be part of this historic journey. Following her maiden voyage, the Ivernia shifted to the Liverpool to Boston route alongside her younger sister, the RMS Saxonia. However, not all her voyages would be smooth sailing. On May 24, 1911, while under the command of Captain Thomas Potter on her Liverpool to Boston route, the Ivernia was navigating through the heavy fog as she approached Queenstown Harbour. Around noon, it was reported that the Ivernia struck downed rock, located 9 miles from the port. The collision resulted in severe damage to the forward hull, causing the ship to take on water. It's important to note that the Ivernia was designed with 10 watertight bulkheads that extended up to her upper deck, dividing the ship into 11 watertight compartments. If only 2 of these compartments had been flooded, the Ivernia would have remained afloat. It's not clear how many watertight compartments the bulkheads were damaged or flooded, but it is known that the ship anchored in the Kinloch Channel and all the passengers were safely evacuated. By dusk, the forward holds continued to take on water and the Ivernia was towed to the mudbanks near Corkberg Island on the eastern side of the harbour. After reviewing the damage, it was reported that the water had flooded as high as the main and shelter deck. The ship then travelled to Holboline and finally to Liverpool for temporary and full repairs before returning to service in October. In late 1911, the Ivernia began to sail on the Mediterranean route as the Cunard line established a passage for migrants traveling from Fiume and Trieste to New York City. The service operated during the summer months where she continued her Liverpool-Boston route in the winter. This arrangement lasted until the outbreak of World War I in the summer of 1914. The Ivernia was in Trieste on the day of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife, an event that sparked the war. She departed on the same day that Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. While she was still at sea, Britain declared war on Germany. On August 5th, the ship stopped in Gibraltar, where she was held while the Cunard line, other shipping managers and the British government determined the best course of action. A few days later, the Ivernia managed to leave Gibraltar. However, British authorities there had prevented the vessel from taking on coal for fuel, as it had been reserved for naval vessels. Consequently, the Ivernia redirected her journey back to Liverpool to Boston route to avoid running out of fuel. During the crossing, her funnel and railings were painted in a naval grey to disguise her as a German merchant vessel. A clever strategy. During the war, the Ivernia served various roles, including as a Canadian troop ship and a prison ship, where she held around 1,500 German prisoners of war off Southend-on-Sea. She was later designated as a British troop ship and was known as the HMT Ivernia. When requisitioned by the British government, the Ivernia was commanded by two notable captains. The second to last captain was Arthur Rostren, who had previously commanded the Ivernia's younger sister, the Carpathia, which is famous for rescuing the survivors of the Titanic disaster. The last captain was William Thomas Turner, the same captain who sailed the RMS Lusitania and survived its sinking in 1915. Turner's experience would ultimately lead to his downfall as captain of the Cunard line, a topic we will discuss further. During her time as a British troopship, the Ivernia supported the Gallipoli campaign, and the rule was established to keep her lights off at night due to reported German submarines in the Mediterranean Sea. Unfortunately, Ivernia's career came to an abrupt end when she was torpedoed without warning. On New Year's Day 1917, while carrying troops from Marseille to Alexandria, the Ivernia was torpedoed by the German submarine UB-47 at 10:12 am. The attack occurred in the Kythera Strait, 58 miles southeast of Cape Matapan in Greece. Records do not provide specific details about where the torpedo struck or how long it took for the ship to sink. However, it is known that Captain Turner remained on the Ivernia's bridge until everyone aboard had evacuated into lifeboats and rafts. Out of the 2,400 British troops and crew members on board, 36 crew members and 84 troops lost their lives. Captain Turner survived the sinking, having left the bridge and swum away just as the vessel went down beneath him. Due to his actions during the emergency, Captain Turner would never command a vessel again. The Cunard line assigned him a desk job before he ultimately retired in 1919 due to ill health. After the sinking of the RMS Ivernia, survivors were rescued by the HMS Rifleman and the lifeboats were taken to the Sudan Bay in Crete. In the aftermath of her sinking, the Cunard line constructed two ships with the same name. The RMS Ivernia was launched in 1915 and another followed in 1964, both built for the line's North Atlantic cargo service. To this day, the wreck of the RMS Ivernia has not been found, although it is believed to lie off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera. If discovered, it could mean that the ship would now be owned by the Greek government, given their strict laws regarding shipwrecks. Until then, we will never know what ultimately became of her. We didn't have the time to cover everything about the Ivernia, mainly because most of our resource material came from Wikipedia. However, future videos will focus on the differences between the Ivernia class liners, the Ivernia's Marconi wireless room and the lifeboats, as these topics deserve individual attention. On a final positive note, the History Inside a Nutshell team would like to wish everyone a happy new year. We hope you enjoy more maritime content from us this year. If you would like to see more content in the meantime, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that YouTube can alert you when we upload our next videos. Until then, happy sailing!